Morena koutou katoa, konik toko ingoa. It's spring. Well, it's early spring anyway. We still have a bit of cold weather to come probably here in New Zealand. There was even a little frost this morning, which indicates it's still much too early to get out the summer seedlings like tomatoes. But we're getting some stunner days. It's starting to feel warmer, the days are getting a bit longer, so it's becoming a really exciting and busy time of year to start to prep for the summer. I thought I'd do a little early spring update on the farm. Today I've got some seedlings to put out, some new seeds to sow. We've got some new additions here to the farm too, which I'd like to show you. And I'm also going to pick up a couple of trees. I'm a little late to getting in the ground, but we've had lockdown here in New Zealand and only just allowed contactless pickups now. So yeah, I'll show you around and check out what's going on this beautiful spring day. Oh my god, you've just had your little baby too. Oh. Little newborn Lemmy. You right, little one? You're a good mama? You're okay. Good little one. Go to your mum. It's so cool that there was just that little one born this morning. So we got heaps of new lambs this spring, a little set of twins and a few singles. So yeah, we run a few Wiltshire sheep here on the property, which are a kind of an old heritage breed that self-sheds, so we don't have to muck around with crutching, shearing, or even tailing, so they can keep their tails and they pretty much remain dag-free. You can also see their good old mothering ability kicking in. Yeah, and they've just been a really nice breed to work with. This year we've only lost one lamb to a set of twins, and you know, it's just what happens. It's hard to know why exactly. It could just have been something was wrong with it, or it came out the wrong way. But it's actually a much better success rate than we had last year, and I think that's just because being new to all this, I bought a ram that was a bit dud, and he's yeah, spread his genetics through last year's lamb. This year our boy, he's young, but he's much more healthy and strong looking, and it really reflects in the lambs that he's had. It's really nice to have fresh eggs again, and the chooks are laying really well. We've got the Orpingtons here, another sort of older meat egg breed, and yeah, they do really well, and it's just so good to be having eggs on toast and baking in this lockdown. So just feeding the chooks, and yeah, this one always decides to jump on my back. Yeah. Okay, I'm gonna put my hand into the lion's den. Jeez. So they'll be wanting better pastures, so let them out for a bit each day. Come on, girls. Come up. Come up. Right, heading out to get the trees for the food forest with Rosie. Gotta stay safe. So there we go, all done. I failed to mention that these are hazelnuts, so hopefully, yeah, we'll get some nuts in the years to come. It does pay to do research when planting trees, and well, what the internet told me is they like free draining soils which tick. We've got heaps of rocks all through our blooming soil, and they like a bit of clay too, but mainly they just need shelter and don't like too hot summers, which we do actually get here. With a lot of nut trees, you need to plant two varieties so they pollinate each other. So yeah, these two do pollinate one another. You got to check that out. And yeah, I've just added a little bit of seaweed tonic and chopped up seaweed just into the top of the soil, which will give them a few wee nutrients and hopefully help with any transplant shock. So yeah, the old winds picked up a wee bit. Classic spring, 4 seasons in a day. But the next item on the agenda for today is I'm going to get some seedlings into the ground. So I've got just a couple of little red cabbages here that I'm going to see if they do okay. Cos lettuce, green cabbage here, and then yeah, a few peas I've started. Might be the wrong time for peas, but I'll just see how they go. So I mostly use heirloom varieties of vegetables here to try and, you know, trust in the old seeds and the old way of doing things. They tend to be a bit more hardy, and the really cool thing is a lot of them, if you let go to seed, you can then use that the next year as well. So I'm going to get these in this garden here behind me. Fingers crossed the slugs won't get to them, but I won't hold my breath. So first I'm just going to clear all the weeds and greens that are just covering the bed at the moment. So I tend to let my garden go a little bit wild, and you know, that's kind of, oh, slug, see, these are everywhere. Close your eyes if you don't want violence, but got a real slug problem. But yeah, anyway, I like to sort of let things go wild. It means less work for me, but it also, like over the winter and stuff, keeps the soil covered and is good for them. And I mean, if you look here, there's like, you know, a lot of clover and stuff, and you know, that actually fixes nitrogen in the soil, and you know, the veggies love them. Look, I've got grass here. I live in paddocks, I live rurally, so I'll forever be fighting grass. But look, I can chop this all, it'll become green mulch, and then I can just cover it up with an extra layer of soil when I put the new seedlings in. And then all these weeds, yeah, they now just are gonna break down in the soil from all the worms and bacteria and other microbes, and yeah, they'll feed my veggies now. So nothing leaves the soil, it's a living thing, and I'm just gonna constantly keep adding to it to increase soil health so my plants do better and better. So now I'll just add some compost. So there you have it, hey presto, you got a bed all ready for vegetables. I'll admit, like, I did buy in this compost. The guy reassured me, or convinced me it was organic, even though it wasn't certified. Not that I'm real staunch organic or anything, but yeah, don't like the idea of little pesticides and rubbish going into the soil. And you know, I just can't get enough of the stuff and make enough myself, so I did have to buy a bit in this year. But yeah, these are ready to have the veggies in now.
Holding on to the earth again, I was watching the ground fall away, cut of clouds and crooked mountains. Maybe I'll be able.
And then the last important thing, which I actually really do, is to label, because you forget what you planted. So in here are some other brassicas, but I cannot for the life of me remember if they're cauliflowers or what. Oh, wait a second. Oh, there's a little head, so yeah, that must be a broccoli. So you get all these little surprises. And in here are some buttercrunch lettuce, and I didn't plant those, I just let a few plants go to seed, and then yeah, heaps of them just pop up everywhere. So you can kind of just let old nature do its thing. So while we're here, might as well give you a quick look at what is going on in the veggie garden. So these were peas that were planted about a month ago, but they're not really doing much. I think I might have missed the boat with peas. What's really cool is I've managed to grow some purple sprouting broccoli. I'm gonna start eating this soon, probably. It took a long time, man. This thing's been in there since spring last year, summer last year, something. And I just thought it was a dud brassica, not doing anything. Like to let the odd like wombok or bok choy go to flower, because the bees and other insects really like it as an early winter food source. Got some of my green manure cover crop, and so I'm going to chop that down soon from when I put the summer veggies in, like tomatoes and zucchinis and stuff. So this is just all covered in green to protect the soil and keep all the life thriving. It's still hard to tell, but this is the food forest that's slowly, coming underway. This is the nectarine tree that's just started to flower, and yeah, down in here I've got another garlic bed that isn't covered by netting. And I made the foolish mistake of thought, I'll just let the chicks have a wee go through the food forest. There's lots of fresh greens and bugs for them to forage in. And then I forgot about them, and they came up here and yeah, just dug around all the garlic, and yeah, it wasn't good. And this is some rhubarb that had flowered. I've never actually seen that before. Yeah, quite cool. And then otherwise, I'm just letting things roll in the food forest for now. A lot of, that's a blackberry peach tree, hasn't burst into flower just yet. It's only really the almond tree over there. And so really, it's still going to be a few more years until this all establishes. But, each year we're getting closer. And then just lastly, just getting in some varieties of tomatoes. It's still a bit early for the likes of corn and zucchini and that, but can get a head start with some tomatoes. So I've got a few varieties here, like Moneymaker, Gardener's Delight, Beefsteak Rainbow, and then a cocktail mixture. And then I've just saved some seeds from a yellow cherry one from last year. And really, I kind of cheat and give a head start. All I do is get a wet paper towel, put the seeds in it, shove it between two plates and keep it damp and warm until the seeds germinate. And that's kind of a fail-safe method for me. Well, cheers. I'd say that probably wraps up the early spring farm tour. I'll make another video when I feel like the next season has come. That'll be when all the frosts have passed and the weather's really warming up. I think it's good to think outside of just the 4 fixed seasons. There's these bits in between, and they affect what you do at various times in the year. I'll put out some tomato seedlings and other things like chilies and get them going that I've got potted up, which I didn't show you. But yeah, it's just a real cool time of year. Everything's bursting into life, things are warming up, but we're not quite out of the woods yet. If you made it this far, thanks for taking the time to watch. Ka kite anō.